Rather disturbingly, there have been some reports of people out on the streets looting shops in South Africa. There have also been cases of excessive abuse by security personnel during lockdown checks. Duduzile Ramela is a freelance journalist in South Africa. She joins us now. Very good to speak to you once again, Duduzile. And I'm getting better at your name now, aren't I?
First, spot on.
Yeah. First, a quick reaction to the extension of the period of lockdown. How is that being received by South Africans?
I think just hearing the president's address last night sort of confirmed for a lot of people, but I think also South Africans were open to the fact that we might see an extension of the lockdown, so it was just a matter of confirmation. So our president confirming yesterday that there is a lockdown in South Africa. And then today we saw the health minister coming out to give us more details in terms of how we're doing and how they're responding to it from a healthcare point of view. I think just like any other African nation, we're in this together in terms of the coronavirus just bringing to the fore and making it just really more blatant that we have weak health systems, and South Africa is no exception. So in terms of tests that have been conducted in South Africa for people on coronavirus, it's 73,028 tests conducted. Confirmed positive cases of coronavirus climbing to 2,003. Deaths, unfortunately, and we know that one death too much, it's 24 deaths. And the number of recoveries being 410. The health minister really saying that South Africa's lockdown has helped. So backing the president in that, but also making sure to remind South Africans that we are not out of the woods just yet. So he described the situation that we are in as a storm. And it's a storm that is not over. The storm is delaying and we can't be complacent. So also just iterating that we need to abide by the rules of the law.
Now, tell me about compliance and enforcement. We've heard of excesses in both directions, some looting reported, as well as some heavy-handedness of the authorities. Talk to me about those.
I think with the looting, one must be careful with that because it's not a widespread thing. It's not like people are out on the streets and looting shops. So it's isolated incidents where people, funny enough, also are looting alcohol and breaking into shops where there's alcohol. People wanting alcohol because there's no alcohol that's being sold. There are no cigarettes as part of the lockdown as well. So that's what happened there with the situation of the looting and with the situation of police brutality. We really haven't had cases recently anyway of police brutalizing people. So in terms of enforcement, it's still the same. Don't be out on the road unless you have to. Are you an essential worker? If you're not, you need to stay at home.
What sort of economic toll is this taking on the people of South Africa, particularly those in the poorest income brackets? You would imagine that those in the informal sector have to go out to work in order to get something to eat. How has this affected particularly that group of citizens?
South Africa is an unequal society. So you have those who have, and they have extremely, and you have those who do not have. And those who do not have been particularly hard hit in terms of their economic well-being, in terms of their general upkeep. So you have also a situation this week where we saw informal traders, there were concessions made to say that they can be able to trade, but they're not going to be able to sell fully what it is that they sell. They can only sell vegetables and fruit. And the argument, is that, again, this is just exposing the issues that we've always had. You've got people who live in a township like Alexandra, Cape Town, which is, if you know Nima, a similar situation to Nima. So how do you tell those people to self-isolate? How do you tell those people not to trade on the streets? But unfortunately, the situation we find ourselves in worldwide, we have no choice but to adhere to that. And now it's just about what kind of conversations do we have, right? About people who have extremely. We cannot continue as business as usual. And the majority of people in Africa who are suffering are those people who have small businesses, informal traders. So yeah, it's a conversation that we're going to need to have heavily after this.
Now, Duduzile, the last time we spoke, you told me about the two wealthiest families in South Africa who have been asked to make some donations. How is that going, and how much have they given so far, and what is that money being used for?
Sure. So we've got 3 families that have donated, and each donating R1 billion. 2 families donating towards small businesses in South Africa, but that will unfold itself in terms of loans for these small businesses. So of course there's going to be repayment options which are said to be favorable for the small businesses who access these funds within days of this fund being made available. They received over 10,000 applications, if I'm not me correctly. Don't quote me on that. Please go online and double check that number. But a lot of applications were sent through, and the number of people who were applying, the funds weren't even enough. So they far superseded the amount that was pledged by these families, which really tells you something about the state of small businesses in South Africa, and the kind of support that small businesses in South Africa need.
Duduzile, I've got to thank you so much for yet again bringing us all the way up to date with the situation in South Africa. Until the next time.